good base. You've seen 2 games. How much evidence is there now to say like, hey, we've got some areas we can attack that, that secondary, that front line.
Yeah, you're always going to try to attack your opponents. They've been good on defense for a long time, and seem to continue that, and so it'll be a challenge for us. But the key is going to be just keep doing what we've been preaching all year, since January. We got to go play really, really hard. If we know what to do and go do it really, really hard, we're gonna give ourselves a chance to score points, and that's the goal. Like you said, they've been a good unit on defense for a long time, and this year will be no different, I'm sure. And so like I said, we'll have work cut out for us, but I'm sure it'll be a great atmosphere, and we're excited about the opportunity to go play them.
How much does Cam Brown's addition help, a group that obviously showed a lot of weapons against Indiana State, but now you've got another one in the mix?
For sure, Cam's been great since he's been here. He's been around some great programs, obviously. A really, really intelligent guy, understands football, does a lot of great things, and so getting him healthy will be great for us. And he just adds so much experience and a ton of leadership to that room, and so just getting back out there on the practice field has been huge for us, just because he sees things really like a coach would see him. And he tries to help the guys in the room. I think he makes that whole room better because, like I said, he sees things, talks to them. He'll even talk to me, talk to CP, like, hey, did you see this? What if we did this? Always has ideas, and they're usually really good ideas. So having him out there will be, like I said, he's already added a lot. Just getting him back out around us on the practice field and getting him out there on game day will be awesome.
I apologize that I ask about Max Klare about every week, but he was a high school quarterback, I think, up until his junior year, he said. How much can you kind of see that benefits him as a tight end, where maybe he thinks like a quarterback a little bit, or knows what a quarterback is going through when he's out there running routes?
Yeah, Max is just a great football player, and I don't know if his quarterback background helps him or what, but he's a really gifted athlete. He's strong, he's powerful, he understands the game of football, and I think obviously playing quarterback, you have to understand the game of football some, so I'm sure that background helps him some, but Max is a great football player. I think he could he can play multiple positions. You can move him around. He's smart. He's a freak athlete, in my opinion, and so we're really fortunate to have him out there. That's for sure.
What we saw from Hudson last time out was remarkable. Have you ever seen anything like that? And just the bar, I guess, he set with that opening effort.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever done anything like that according to the record book. So I guess I haven't seen it, but he was he was pretty good. And he keeps that up, winning a lot of football games, just doesn't throw incompletions. But, he had a heck of a day, and, 2 of his best throws were called back. So the crazy thing is, I don't know I think he's 24-25, could have been 26-27, if the 2 big ones, like, he had a big one to Jamal and then a big one to Max, both in the same drive, both called back. So he was, since he's been here, we've talked about how good he could be and how much he understands what we're trying to do. I think being in year 2, just with the experience from year 1 and being in the offense for a year, always helps, regardless of who it is. And I can't say I thought he was gonna go out there and not hardly throw an incompletion, but I think the expectations for him is high, and were high going into last week, and he obviously lived up to them. So every week when he goes out there, you feel like you got a chance. I think obviously the game of football is a quarterback-driven football. Is a quarterback-driven game. And when you have a good one, you always feel like you got a chance to win, regardless of who you're playing. And so when you go out there with Hudson each week, regardless of who the opponent is, you walk into the game feeling like we got a chance to win because we have a really good quarterback. And so, like I said, I'm really proud of the way he played week 1, and hopefully we can build on that and continue to play like that, and have a great season with Hud.
Just real quick, your thoughts on the Notre Dame secondary. It looks like it's a pretty strong group. What you've seen on film in your preparation?
Yeah, they like you said, they're a good group. They bring back quite a bit of experience. There's a couple new pieces back there, but also have experience back there, and a talented group of dudes that will challenge us. And like I said, I think that our challenge to our receivers and our skill positions is going to be go play really, really hard, and when you get an opportunity, you have to make plays. And it may be contested out. Your opportunities may be contested catches, whatever the case may be, but you got to make contested catches to create explosive plays at times, especially against a good secondary. And so that'll be their challenge, but we'll do everything we can to put them in a position to be successful. Harp on them about how hard they're going to have to play and how detailed they're going to have to be. And if they do that, they'll, like I said, hopefully give themselves a chance to go be successful on Saturday.
Kind of to follow up on Tom's question about Hudson, it's obviously hard to go 24-25 against air. At the same time, probably every defense he faces from this point on will be more challenging than what he faced last. So what did you see within that performance that you think is most replicatable against the better defenses you're going to see?
Probably just decision making. I think if you go back and look at it, even his incompletion was a great decision. We missed a 55-yard throw by half a step. When that's the case, like that's going to happen at times. There's probably one decision I thought he got to Mockabee too quick on one play. He threw a completion, but I thought he just got to Mockabee a little bit too quick. But other than that, like if you go back and watch the tape, every decision you're like, yeah, that was the right decision. That was the right decision. Consistently. And if you do that, like that's how you throw completions. You make good decisions. And obviously, as you get going, I'm sure there's going to be tighter windows he's going to have to fit the ball into and stuff like that. But when you see things as well as he saw them the other day, and you make the right decision over and over and over and over, you're going to give yourself a chance to throw completions. And that's what I thought was really impressive. And I thought he was really accurate with the football. There were very few throws that the guy had to train. Even his completions, obviously he threw a bunch of them, but there were very few of them where the guy had to break stride or would look like it was behind him or anything like that. And so if you can get to where you're supposed to get and be accurate with the football, like you give yourself a chance regardless of what defense you're facing. Now, obviously, like you said, we got to go win on the perimeter and we got to get open and do things like that. But his understanding, his grasp of what we're trying to do, his decision making, the accuracy with football, I think are all things that kind of snowballed into having the kind of performance he had the other night.
Since you brought it up, the one that he did miss, was that just the throw was a little bit off? Was it the step was just a little bit like?
It kind of like he stumbled a little bit, but
Yeah.
also, like I said, when the ball travels, I don't know how far it traveled in the air, 55, 60 yards, like every yard down the field, your completion percentage goes down. And so like that one, we just barely missed it, you know what I mean? And obviously when you get opportunities to hit big ones, you want to hit them. But as a play caller, as an offense, as a quarterback, as a receiver, as any offensive guy, you understand, like if you're pushing it at 60 yards down the field, like you said, even on air, if you're truly going full speed, like your completion percentages is going down. And so we just barely missed it. And like I said, I do think, we expect those two to make that one, but they were a tick off, and it really, like the other quarterbacks were talking to me with the credit, like that may have been the first deep post he missed all camp, or that we didn't complete when he actually threw it and had it. So it's a ball he's hit quite a few times, and we just barely missed it. And like I said, when you're throwing it that far down the field, that happens.
You guys came out, I think, double tight to start that game. Some of that, I guess, might have been matchup dependent on what Indiana State was doing. But I guess just how do you see the tight end depth that you guys have and the tight end production being able to potentially force some opponents into matchups you want?
Yeah, since we've been here, we've talked about how strong that tight end room can be. And so, like I said, those guys just, they're good football players, and they obviously help you in the run game, but they also can create matchup issues in the pass game. I forget which drive it was, but we had good matchup. We were in 12 personnel, had good matchups, and when we hit the biggest one to Max's biggest completion on the day, we had favorable matchups on Max. You know what I mean? And when we get that, we got to take advantage of it. And so, using that tight end room, not only like putting multiple guys in the game, but hopefully as the season goes on, we can kind of move those pieces around a little bit and try to create, like we said, matchups for us, or whether it be in the blocking game or in the passing game. If we can create matchups by using big athletic people, then we're going to try to do that. The cool thing about some of our receivers too is they're big athletic guys as well. If you look at their heights and weights and stuff, you got some big, strong, athletic receivers that same sort of deal. If we can move those pieces around to create matchup issues, whether it be, like I said, in blocking or create mismatches in the pass game, we can do that. And so we have a fun group. Obviously when adversity hits, like things change, but they're completely bought in. They do whatever they're asked to do. I think the tight end room is that way, but across the board, as an offensive unit and really as a football team, I think that's kind of what's been fun about this group so far is no matter what you ask them to do, they're all in on doing it, and they try the best to do it. And if guys do that, then obviously you got a better chance to win games because, like I said, they're buying into what we're asking them to do, and they're doing what we're asking them to do full speed. And so, like I said, that tight end room's awesome. The receiver room's been fun to work with. Really, the whole unit's been a blast.
As a play caller, how much are those first couple possessions about establishing what you want to do later in the game, opening things up? It seemed like against Indiana State, throwing the ball to the sidelines, the swing passes, the bubble screens, whatever they were, opened up some things down the field, but also stretched them out a little bit, east and west for the running game.
For sure, I think that most importantly with those first few drives, you just want to move the football and create some rhythm as an offense. You know what I mean? And then you're also trying to see because how the defense is trying to attack you. And so like you said, you're setting some things up for later on in the game and trying to open up other things with what you're doing in those first couple drives. But you're trying to create some rhythm. You want to be able to move the football and also kind of get a feel for, hey, what's going to be their plan of attack this week? You know what I mean? Because everyone, offenses and defenses, each week they go in with a little bit different plan of attack, and so you're trying to kind of get a feel for, hey, how are these guys going to try to attack us today, and what can we do to counter it, or what can we do to continue to move the football? And so I think establishing rhythm is really important. Seeing what they're trying to do to you, and then like you said, you also want to try to open some things up for later in the football game, and like you said, we did a pretty good job. We put the ball on the ground on that second drive, but other than that, those first few drives, like we were rolling pretty good.
What is it about Max Klare that makes him such a valuable option throwing the ball down the field? What is it about him as a football player, as an athlete, whatever it might be?
Yeah, I think he's just, he has good ball skills, but I think it's just, we talked about it a minute ago. I think his understanding of the game of football helps, obviously, like how much, I think he has a really high football IQ, but to be his size, he's just really, really athletic, and I think that's the difference between him and most people. Most people that are 6'4", 240 or whatever he is, like, can't twitch and move and aren't as explosive of a human being as he is, and so that's the difference between him and most people I've ever seen his size. Is he moves like a little person, but he's big, and when you have someone that does that, it's pretty special, and I think it does, he's kind of the tight end version of it, but like I played with Michael Crabtree. I think he was another guy that was very similar to that. Like he played a different position, but for his position, he was big, but moved like a little person. I think Jordy Nelson, when I was with the Packers, was that way, like a big person that moved like a little person. And when you have somebody that can do that, it's fun to play football with them.
Any other questions for Coach Harrell? Sam?
I know last year we kind of beat the injury angle to death, and it seemed like every week there was new guys, but some of those guys came back and played, and I think probably when you have an injury, there's a little bit of doubt until you get out there and play a game. So the guys like Jamal, Marcus, Max, how big was it just to get out there, play a game, and get in the feel of playing 4 quarters again?
I think it was very important. Obviously with Jamal, I think it was maybe the most important because it was his first real, Big Ten football game. Because last year he didn't get to play any. Those other guys at least had some experience, and so we made an effort to get him the ball early. Like the first play of the game, I think the first 2 plays of the game, we threw him a screen pass. But we wanted just to get him a touch, just because, like you said, I think sometimes when you've had an injury, I know, like even though I didn't have an injury, just as a player, I remember like after I got tackled for the first time, I was good. You know what I mean? Like even going to a game, you might be nervous, whatever. As soon as you got hit for the first time, you're like, all right, it's time to go. You know what I mean? And I think that it's been probably a year and a half, 2 years since he had been tackled or been hit at all. Because his injury last year was in a non-contact issue. It was before we didn't have pads on, and so being that long before he got tackled, obviously we made an effort to get him a touch early. He got a touch the first 2 plays, and after that, I think he's able to relax and play football, and so that was big for him. Obviously with Bo, with Max, those guys had played on that stage before, but still getting back out there after an injury, and they both looked really, really great. They looked really, really good just moving. Like Max looked explosive, he looked fast, he looked twitchy. I thought the same thing with Bo. We ran a draw. One of the big run that Maccabee had on the draw. Bo was running almost stride for stride with him. Like he looked fast, he looked twitchy, he looked really comfortable. They both looked really healthy, or all 3 of them looked really healthy. So I thought that was just getting back out there and being able to play. I think does a lot for your psyche. And like I said, getting them touches early or getting Bo, he's gonna get hit every play because he's a lineman. That's what they do. But just getting some contact early was big for all those guys. They really settled in, and they all 3 played really well.
All All right, thanks, Coach. Well,
Yep.
Coach came up next.